Well, good Sunday evening, friends. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, and I mean without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody is having a great day. It is actually a beautiful day weather-wise outside right now, and we are getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. I can't believe that it's only a week and a half away. I have been out of the loop, and so I'm going to rely on you guys to help me figure out what's what and who's who as far as the draft goes. So without further ado, let me go ahead and say hello. How are you? Because we got Momo in here, and Momo is dealing with loss of a family member as well. So definitely keeping you in our prayers, Momo. And we also have Joe DeMasi in the house and things. So we've got the draft on tap. We've got every kind of process here or idea in the world of the Cowboys, what they're going to do and so on. I'm going to say that the Cowboys are actually doing good at baffling people at what they actually want to do, which is probably a good thing. Is we've seen so many times for the Cowboys where we've coveted a player and we wanted to draft that one, and to see the Eagles jump in front of us to take the player that we wanted. Prayers up to Momo from Drew. Go Birds. Yeah, Birds, go to hell. How about that? What's going on, Momo? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm having a good day today. I'm having a good day today.
You having a good day?
Moments.
Okay. I see you throwing down on some food there, man.
Yeah.
Must be pretty good. Eating like a damn gremlin up in here.
Yes, I am.
Well, we got Drew, we got Royals, Cowboys in the house. What's up? Do what it do. We got Ruben Walls, we got Chris May, and we got Isaac. It may be a little bit quiet in here because I did not have the stream set up early. I was actually at my mom's house, spending time with her and reminiscing about things and all that, making sure mom is doing good and things. So let me ask you, Joe. What's up, Joe? Joe, you're muted.
What's up, Mark? Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. So, Joe, how are you feeling about the Dallas Cowboys, and what direction do you feel like the Cowboys are going to go with this draft?
You know, it's kind of cliche, but I think it kind of depends whoever is picked in front of them. I think they got to go best player available. I hope they get a playmaker for the offense. I think Brian Schottenheimer has talked about it, and either they go running back or receiver. We'll see. I really like the McMillan guy out of Arizona. I just don't know if he'll fall to us. But I really like, I commented on it because I heard you said something about Matthew Golden, but I really like Emeka Mbuka. He's from Ohio State, and he's more of a route runner. And I think that's what the Cowboys need. They need a route running specialist like Amari Cooper was. And then you could kind of have that 1-2 with CD and Cooper.
Well, Matthew Golden seems to be like the golden child, the way they've been, you showing the pictures of him with Jerry Jones and the two fingers and stuff. And, you know, seemingly the guy that they're supposedly really interested in, and I'm not saying that they're not, but I almost feel like this is smoke and mirrors. And Asman, I don't know if I'm going to training camp or not this year. It's gotten to be more and more expensive and less that you can do. So I'm not sure if that's money well spent or not. I mean, although last year I did go with my wife and I took my daughters and made it like a family vacation, along with taking care of some business and closing down my daughter's storage in L.A. It's still pretty pricey to get out there, man. So I don't know if we're going to do that or not. Shout out to Aisha Robinson. She's taking it one day at a time. I feel you, Aisha. I'm right there with you, girl. Having just buried my dad 2 days ago. So we got Thomas Garrett in the house there. We got the sun beaming through there. Man, look, we got everybody. Do I need to change the time that we do this thing? Because it seems like we catching everybody at dinner time now. We just had Momo throwing down, eating like a damn gremlin up in here on a steak. Now, what you eating, Thomas?
Roast, hunter greens, corn, mac, and cheese, cornbread.
Yep, bud.
Damn. Now that is a Sunday meal like we used to have growing up, man. Sunday dinner. Oh my God, my mom cooked that roast or that turkey, that ham. It was always something big, and you had all the fixings and stuff in there. She'd have her rolls or biscuits or cornbread, man, and her homemade jelly. Damn, I miss those days. Your thoughts on the Cowboys getting ready for this draft? What would you like to see?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
Either running a wide receiver. I told you a few weeks ago if JT is there, get him, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I don't think that's gonna happen now. And I just got to go either running back or wide receiver.
I think we need both.
Yeah, but there are a good depth of both, which is good because we could get some maybe round 2, round 3. I like that area, Mark. You always say you like to trade back, and I think in this draft that would be a perfect thing.
Provided you have somebody who wants to trade up. That's the question.
Right. That's the thing. I just think with all the quarterbacks, there's going to be somebody that wants to, and hopefully Dallas can maybe jump back into the 4th or get a 3rd round. Because I think that's where the meat of the draft is. This draft, it's kind of a weird draft this year.
Mm-hmm.
They really like the UCLA linebacker. I heard on Game Time Brian, Carson Schwessinger's his name.
Yeah.
Kind of plays like Sean Lee, had the same exact 40 time, but they really like him at 44, I think.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. I hate to do it. I would hate to do it, but if I was in the Dallas more room, and if I was drafting around 3, and if Schlesinger is there, I'm getting him.
You got to.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I gotta get him.
Got to. I agree,
3.
Thomas. Yep. I think they got to get some playmakers too, and I don't know. Maybe the 12th pick I think it's gonna shock some people, and like usual make Cowboys fans go like, what the hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we did that for Tyler Smith, and look how good he is now. So you just never know.
Want to get Schlesinger and have all those killer linebackers? That'll set up my linebacking core right there.
Right there, yeah. With Luafau, yeah, totally. You would have Overshown. You would have 3 good linebackers right there. Young too.
Okay. Again, I have been it's been crazy with my father-in-law and then my dad 3 weeks later. I have done nothing as far as the draft prospects. I know nothing. I know nothing. So I'm going to rely on you guys on the players and stuff that are out there and things. Bottom line is, when I look at this draft, whenever you draft, what you want to have happen is you need to have one player that's an instant impact that makes your team better day one. You need to get a second starter, you need to get some depth, and you need to get a special team standout. If you can do that, if you can get really 4 players like that in a draft and anything else, then you're doing actually pretty good. I will say a draft like, say, the 22 draft, where you got Tyler Smith, who, ended up saving our ass because he was able to play left tackle for Tyron Smith. You got a Deron Bland later on. You got Sam Williams, although we're still waiting on Sam Williams and hoping that he's going to be something this year. But you also got Jake Ferguson in that draft. And so you look at that draft and say, if we can do something like that, which is a really good draft, then things are pretty good. But even with the draft like that, it ain't going to take care of all the needs. We really need playmakers. As much as, I'm excited about Dak being healthy and moving around and literally saying, I could play right now, that he's redistributed his weight. He looks like he's ready. But if we ain't got some weapons for him to go to, it's all for naught. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree and we also need to improve. I guess it's given, but we need to improve our offensive line. We had two terrible tackles last year when it came to pass protection, and can't have that when all you're doing is passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
If we do draft line, we should get a lineman into about the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
Later on.
Yeah, well, they supposedly really like that guard they got from Miami, Jones, I think his name is. They really like him. So who knows? I mean, I don't know if they'll go line because they did bring that young guy in from Washington too that used to play, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
I heard Shadid Charles had retired.
They're on the contract.
Yeah, he did retire, Royal. I think it was a family issue. It's the coach of Tennessee at the time said it was personal or something, which I don't know. But he's a young guy, and he was really good at LSU, so that's kind of what he's known for.
Some guy retiring.
He was part of that national championship team back in 2019.
He was, and he could play both guard and tackle. If you remember, Thomas, I remember that year.
He was first. Yeah, he was first team All-American.
Right.
Yeah, half of that LSU team made the All-American team.
They did, huh?
Ultra Cowboys said teams with the lowest sack rates per attempt since 22 season. Bills 4.1, Lions 4.8, Packers 4.8, Buccaneers 4.9, Jaguars 5.1, Cowboys 5.4. Cowboys not winning until the Cowboys get a quarterback that does not choke when. Okay, all right. I'm going to leave that one there. Okay. I'm still going to go back on my premise of it's kind of okay. Let me say this much, okay? What's interesting about the Cowboys is if we take the 22 season, for example, because I always hear that the Cowboys had the great team and everything else, and Dak just choked in playoffs. If you look at the statistics from that year, the Cowboys were actually sixth in running the football. Okay, sixth at running the football. They were, I think, about eighth in passing the football. We had balance. The problem is, because we rushed for like 2,200 yards during that season. The problem is when we got into the playoffs, we played San Francisco and we rushed for 62 yards, and 29 of that was Dak Prescott. So what we were doing and winning during that season, we could not replicate. Now, I'm not going to say it was because, that Tony Pollard and Zeke weren't really good players, but remember, Tony Pollard started dealing with plantar fasciitis. Zeke Elliott had the hyperextended knee, or was that that was PCL. But by the time we got to the playoffs, we did not have the playmakers that were able to perform. Now, I get it. We can say Dak choked, but if you don't have a running game in the playoffs, we see how hard it is to win. And if you've only got one weapon as CeeDee Lamb, sorry, it's hard to win. And that's where I believe more than anything else, we got to get a running back and we got to get another wide receiver to help stretch this field out. We've been dealing with offensive lines that have been bad over the last 5 years, with the exception of 23. Everybody's been kind of, we've taken all kinds of pieces from Joe Looney at center to, Connor McGovern, Connor Williams, and Jason Peters and all that. We have not had a consistent offensive line, but Dak has been able to still make plays. And that's where I really think that having the weapons will be the difference maker. And I'll let anybody else have the floor on their thoughts on that one.
No, that's a great point, and they never seemed to bring up the run defense was bottom of the league.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, there were teams running all over them, and it's like, I don't know. It's Dak did have, I think, a bad playoff game that year against San Francisco, but I think the whole team
everybody did, right?
And it's like. Yeah, it starts with him, but you have to have the defense, in my opinion. And that year, you just simply didn't.
I'm just, you know what, Ultra? I just can't with you today, man. I just can't. I'm
God.
just gonna. I just can't, bro.
I don't see him in the chat. Where's
Oh
he
no,
at in
he's
the
on the
chat?
other channel. He's on Cowboy Joe Boo's channel.
Okay, yeah.
He literally said
didn't
he'd
see him in
rather
the
have
chat.
Momo at quarterback than Dak Prescott. If the Cowboy, here's the thing:
Ultra.
if the Cowboys, like with Tony Romo, that Tony Romo had won a couple of Super Bowls and things, or that Drew Bledsoe had won a Super Bowl, that if we had a standard here of winning great things over the last 30 years, and then all of a sudden it stopped, we got Dak, I can say, yeah, then that's Dak. But guys, you can't look at this and say we have been Super Bowl caliber teams that should be winning it all. That starts from the top going down.
Mark, only thing I would say about Dak Prescott, I have no problem with Dak Prescott. I actually think he's average to below average. This is me. But the problem with Dak Prescott for me, and for any Cowboy fan out there, if you can't throw in this league, if you can't throw the deep ball, that's a problem, Mark. That's a big problem. If you can't throw the ball deep, you got a man wide open and changes games. You have to have somebody who can throw the ball deep.
Bro,
Wait,
Dak
you see that
Prescott,
90-yard pass to CD against Detroit?
bro. This is where I'm sorry. You're an idiot on that one. Dak can hold on. First of all, wait. Let's back this up and see that there's perception and there's reality. Okay. First of all, the Cowboys are always just about dead last in separation. Okay. You know that, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, first of all, that's the case. If you have people wide open, it's real easy to throw a deep pass. Second thing, Dak Prescott has actually been one of the better deep pass completion percentage players over the last 5 years.
He's been one of the better type.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how you can say if he's been one of the highest rated deep passers, how you can say he can't throw the ball deep.
I'm saying the ball hangs in the air. The ball floats in the air and is hanging, and they have to wait for the ball. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Again, if you say so, Momo.
Wait. I want to. Ultra said the defense was lights out in 2022 playoffs. They gave up 170 yards to the 49ers on the ground. I don't think that's lights out.
You heard that one. 170 yards on the ground there, bro.
True. Yeah, Debo killed us, and Elijah Mitchell killed us, and they didn't even have McCaffrey, I don't think.
No, that was before McCaffrey.
Yeah, that was before McCaffrey. So they were killing us without him.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that Dak Prescott, to me, I fear him more as a Washington fan doing the intermediate passes, the 20 yards, the 15 yards, the 30 yards. I don't fear him when he throws the ball deep.
Not when he's got only one weapon and he's double covered.
It's easy. It's easy for defenses to hone in on one guy.
Dak Prescott's always been a play action pass quarterback. If he's got a good running game, it makes him a lot better. I
mean, look at 2016. That's a great point, David. Yeah, I mean, he is better too when he's on the move. So
okay, this new improved Dak Prescott, is he going to move the needle for y'all guys this year?
I don't think it's going to be on him solely.
Well, with this upcoming draft, I honestly think they're going to take Whiteout and running back in the first 2 rounds, and then they're probably just going to use the rest of their picks for depth.
So Momo, Mo, this is not me saying it. This was June 10th, 24. Dak Prescott got the ball out quickly on deep routes, averaging 2.95 seconds per throw, and kept it out of harm's way en route to a 3.7 turnover-worthy play rate, which was 5th best in the NFL.
Can I comment on that, on the statistics?
Okay, here we go.
Here we go with this. Oh God, I'm trying to be nice today. I'm trying. Those statistics are the biggest BS ever because they make these crazy data. We all know this all lies.
Okay, well, well, let me ask you this. Is there a difference when I see somebody like Tyreek Hill going deep versus seeing my guys almost always covered? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Is there a difference between that?
Oh, yes, there's definitely.
Okay. So if Dak Prescott, who's got guys that aren't really getting open, and I'm going to be other than CeeDee Lamb, we ain't had another receiver that really anybody fears since Amari Cooper. I mean,
I think you had somebody.
Who? Noah Brown? How'd you feel about Noah Brown? You think Noah Brown is a premier wide receiver, top 15 wide receiver in the NFL?
Personally, I don't think a second receiver has to be a premier wide receiver. You can have your second receiver, and he can get separation.
And he couldn't get separation. Bro, our separation, we were a yard less than the next team.
Okay, did Noah Brown, he played for y'all, he didn't get separation for y'all?
No. And he couldn't hold on to the damn ball. He was Clifford Franklin.
Yeah, he would tip the ball into the defense.
Oh, my God. We lost to the Jaguars because Dak Prescott, I don't even know how he got the ball to the guy, because there was a guy literally flashed right in front of him. He got the pass perfectly in Noah Brown's hands. He tips it up, and it ends up being a pick six. And all I heard was, well, Dak Prescott lost another game.
Okay, here's my question. I don't care about Noah Brown, because I think he fit in.
I mean, Dak hasn't had weapons every year, but he's had some weapons on some seasons.
The season, Amari Cooper
on a few. I'm not saying all seasons, but he's had some weapons. He's had some weapons sometimes.
I don't want to try to jump down my throat. I'm just saying, when Noah Brown was at Washington before he got hurt late in the season, did he get separation getting open?
Did he?
Yes.
I can't say. I can't say I watched Washington on the
number one offense. I know we were going to say the guys weren't that good, but you know what? They were stepping up. I'm just saying, though, you don't have the number one offense, and your receivers and your running backs and everyone else is playing like shit. I'm just saying, you have the number one offense in the NFL. That means your quarterback's playing good. That means your receivers are playing good. Your running backs are playing good. Your offensive line's playing good. That means your entire offense is functioning. Come on now.
I'm trying to ask a question.
And then when you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal.
Team this past season, did he get separation? Because he was open all the time. Every game I seen, he was getting separation.
The biggest separation he got was on that Hail Mary.
No. If you look at it, you look at the tape. Just look at it. He was open a lot.
Do I wish my quarterback had better weapons? Yes. I do wish he had Brown, A.J. Brown. I do wish he had these guys. I do.
That because Kellen Moore's running the offense.
Yeah, I want my quarterback to have more weapons. I want my quarterback to have more weapons, because that's how that. I mean, if that's the difference between him winning and losing, then I need more weapons.
The years that we went 13, we won 13 games. We were more pass happy than anybody else in the NFL. That's the reason why we had
So let me hold on, Mama. So let me say this. That we think we're going to say that Noah Brown is a premier weapon in the NFL, a guy who's
say that.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Noah Brown, and since Amari Cooper, Noah Brown and Brandon Cooks have been the best two other wide receivers, not CeeDee Lamb, on this team.
They're average.
Average at best.
So what happened? Yeah. Okay, I'm confused about something. What happened to Brandon Cooks? Because he used to be a premier wide receiver.
He's old, bro.
He got older. Mark Cooper's kind of declining now too. I mean, he's just getting old.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
Not everyone can be like Jerry Rice at 41 and had 1,200 yards.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So here's what you have to understand. Okay, Brandon Cooks came in the league in 2014.
I forgot about that.
Okay. Oh, if conveniently we always forget. Oh, I forgot that guy's old. But seriously, the receiving core since Amari Cooper left, it wasn't just Amari Cooper, it was also Cedric Wilson, who was never heard from again. He couldn't get on the field in Miami.
Yeah, okay? Brandon Cooks was old. He had injury problems, and we had a problem with a coach that didn't know how to play the players to the right position.
So, hold on. I'm glad you say that. So, I'm telling y'all guys, I believe that the Cowboys going to have a better season than last year.
I agree. If they just stay healthy, they will.
What I'm saying, what I do saying, don't think this head coach is going to be all, because he's not. He's
we'll
not.
see. You don't know, bro. You know what? You know what's so funny is how everybody you just know that he's not going to be. You know what? Nobody thought that Jimmy Johnson was going to be either.
Because that's a different
right?
era. That's
right.
A different era.
And I will say, people thought that Norv Turner, coming from the Cowboys, was going to be a great coach for the Commanders.
I never thought that.
Okay, well, then you were one of the few who didn't, because we always hear about. Okay, they thought Mike Williams was going to be incredible down there in Miami. How's that guy been doing?
Okay, let me say this, Mark.
We don't know. We don't know.
Okay, let me clarify something. You want to talk about Jimmy Johnson in the era. This is a different era.
My God. Okay.
It's different.
Okay, I'll say this. Okay. When all the coaches were hired in Dan Campbell's, the same year he was, nobody thought Dan Campbell. Everybody looked at Dan Campbell like, this mother helper is talking about gnawing people's kneecaps off. He ain't going to last any amount of time. He's an idiot. And he was the best one that was hired out of that class. And this is where you had, I think, Josh McDaniels was hired and everything else.
Right.
He's a genius. He knows what he's doing. He knows his X and his O. He's done work with Bill Belichick. Those guys are gone. That guy's been to 2 NFC championship games. So you don't know what a guy's going to be.
Well, I do believe that the 2 guys that left for him is not going to be as good as people think they're going. I don't think they're going to do well in Chicago. I don't want to do well in the Jets.
I agree with that too.
I don't think so, because I think the guy in Chicago, he at the head, what's his name? I think he will have moments.
I think you're dealing with 2 functionally damaged organizations. I don't think anybody can turn the Jets around. And the Bears, for whatever reason, they're seemingly that same way.
It's hard to win in either of those cities.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate to quote somebody, but I had to quote this person. Expectation, when you have expectation, you get the room, your body get a little tighter. You get a little this. Oh, I got to do it. I got to. And that's the problem with Chicago, because that pressure from the New York media, from the fans in New York, they depend on you. No, we expect us to win. And that's not always the case in Chicago and New York. So the expectation is so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much higher. And then you start sweating and your palms get wet and all. No, it's just, I just don't believe. I believe that the Jets, that foundation what Dan Campbell did is not going to be the same. It's not going. He's going to fall. They're going to fall in the same category that Bill Belichick coaches had.
Hell, everybody know New York is ass shit.
Yeah,
you already know that.
I mean, what I'm saying, I was Thomas. I was talking about the expectation of them, what they expect them to do.
Everybody know New York is stinky ass.
It's expectation of what they expected them to be. Just like you got the Knicks. They expect the Knicks to win every game. They expect the Rangers to win every game. Because they expect the Mets to win every game, or the Yankees to win. Expectation.
Well, there's no expectation for the Cowboys this year.
Now, like I said, I believe the Cowboys will become in second place, and I believe Eagles will come in third. There's no question in my mind. I believe that. There's no question. The Eagles is not going to have the winning season they once had. You're going to see the real quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles really come out.
I think they're going to have a solid season.
Nah, I don't think so. What's up, Game Time, Brian?
So,
hey, as long as they still have a good running game, the Eagles are going to be competitive with them 2 receivers.
They got that offensive line still. Their defensive line is pretty solid.
Here's the thing. He's not gonna be. He's not gonna have no 1,500 yards this year. He's gonna get. The team's going. Team's going to stop him. So I don't know why everybody thinking he's gonna have all these yards. He's not.
It's not the yards. It's the fact they
but
got
how are they going to
receivers.
stop the offensive line? Their offensive line is still amazing.
Correct.
At the end of it, it's going to be the right one.
I mean, I'm just saying, you got a badass offensive line. You're going to run for some yards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they got a tight end.
If they stay healthy, and I don't want to hear Eagle fans say I'm wishing for injury, but here's the thing. You do have the Super Bowl hangover, and you do have less time to recover because you have played such a long season. That shit is real, and they have lost a lot of players on that roster.
There you go.
Yeah. Like I said, they lost 10 to 15% of the team due to either free agency or player release. They lost about 10 to 15% of their team.
Yeah, and just
That's
take
a lot.
all you have to do is look at San Francisco from the year before.
Solid, though.
Yeah, but look at the drop off for San Francisco last year.
Yeah.
Did anybody see them dropping off like that?
Injuries. That's because of injuries, Mom.
Yes, exactly. Because you've played an extra long season. See, for my Cowboys, we were out mid-January. It's another month of season and wear and tear. Another 3 games on your body and a shorter off season. That is now players that are wanting to get paid and going elsewhere. That's coaches that you've lost. And when you win the Super Bowl, I didn't win the Super Bowl. Now people have a tendency to relax when they've gotten to the top of the mountain.
Let me read what Drew said because he's not making no sense. He said
never
the
does.
Super Bowl hangover is for the losers of the Super Bowl, not the winner.
Okay, all right. We'll
I'm
revisit
not saying
that.
The Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl, but I do think they'll be pretty solid, though. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to fall off. Now, win back-to-back Super Bowls, that's hard. That's hard to do.
The thing I love is how everybody thinks that they're an expert and they know what's going to happen. The reality is nobody knows what is going to happen. I don't care what information that you have out here. 40% of these players that are going to be drafted in the first round will end up being bust.
Yep.
Look back to the 21 draft of the 4 quarterbacks drafted in the top 11. They didn't draft them in the top 11 picks because they thought they were going to be ass. People thought they were going to be good. And guess what? They were wrong in all of them.
I think a lot of this season is going to have people's takes aging like spoiled milk. And I'm going to be just back and enjoying it.
Newhouse fan, Mark, we had a lot of injuries, bros. And unfortunately, injuries are part of football. I mean, we had the second most amount of lost games last year. I think I think San Francisco was the first.
To Drew's point, I was muted. Sorry. To Drew's point, he is right. It's the loser of the Super Bowl who you could almost guarantee will not return. Mm-hmm. Again, that's a tough statement knowing that you got Mahomes, right? But it's pretty much that's that. Now, the winner, I'm not here to say that the Eagles are getting back, but I'm not going to use the jinx or the hangover because of it. I think it's going to be tough. But again, we'll see the schedule. Here's
what I will counter with, though. In the NFC East, we had the Eagles that went to the Super Bowl. Now, be it that was a loss in 2005. We had the Giants win two, was 2007 and 2011.
Yeah.
Right? We had the Eagles win in 17, and then, of course, they lost 23, right? The amazing thing about those 5 trips is none of those teams the next year won the division. Not one. You realize that, right? Win or lose, none of them have won the division the next year. That's not to say that the Eagles can't be the first. I'm just kind of pointing out how difficult it is to stay on the top.
No, I agree with that. I'm just wanted to clear up the hangover aspect of it. That doesn't pertain to the winner. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to have their issues. We could definitely get into that at some point, but just to sit there and say a flat hangover, no, actually, they're going to come in with even more confidence. That's what happens with the Super Bowl. You end up getting more confident, and it's going to take injuries. It's going to take some setbacks, and we've already seen it, right, Mark? We've seen 12 real good players not come back. Now, again, we know that the Eagles are going to do well as far as acquiring players in the draft.
They'll be
no,
and they'll still work on making trades and getting more players in there. That's what they do.
But injuries, we cannot again, and to Mark's point, we cannot sit back and go, we're not rooting for shit. I told everybody I wanted to be healthy. We weren't. I want the Eagles to be healthy. They were. I wanted, you know what I mean? I want everybody. I want to have exciting games in the playoffs against NFC East. That's what life's about to me personally. I want to see Dallas versus the Giants. Remember the Emmitt Smith game, dealing with the separated shoulder, winner gets in, those are the fun games for me. So, but we'll see, I mean, it's a long time between now, 5 months between now and the first tip, first kick, I guess they would say, right? First kick, something like that.
Yeah, I can't wait for the season to get here.
Yeah, I'm not rushing it, Mark. Let's not rush nothing. Life's short. Let's enjoy what we got here. It'll be here before we know it. We'll be yelling at our TVs before we know it. Let's enjoy the ride, baby.
We'll be yelling in another week and a half at the draft here, and you said I might.
Yeah, I ain't yelling. I'll just fucking snap. I might.
Oh Lordy, you know what time it is now.
Oh shit!
It's time to talk Eagles.
All right, everybody, I'm out.
Ooh, that smell!
Right now.
Can you smell that smell? Angelica about our own. Welcome, Angelica.
It's time to get an update on the Eagles roster.
Yeah.
Now, let's be honest. The Eagles ain't gonna go no Super Bowl. They're not gonna make the playoffs. That's what I believe.
Oh Lordy!
It's time to hear Leo and Momo argue for about 30 minutes about the Eagles and the Washington Commanders.
Let's get a ring, man, and let them go at it. Let's get a ring and have Leo and Momo go at it.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Why we gotta go at it? What's happening, everybody? What's good?
Oh, we just want some action, and it's just not. Let somebody else go fighting. Game time.
What's up, game time?
Game time. Remember we were talking last night about Joe Milton. Let me set this up now because I can tell you it will happen because we get all of our Cowboys Mafia there, training camp and stuff. And, we take one play and all of a sudden we're ready to make somebody a Hall of Famer. And I can bet you my hand versus a pile of shit, okay, that we will see a pass play in training camp of Joe Milton throwing the ball 75 yards and hitting somebody, and it will start saying quarterback controversy.
Mm-hmm. It's going to happen because you already got it, Mark. Cowboy fans. You got some of these Cowboy fans that act like 15-year-old children. You see something?
Stephen R.
Yeah. I will say though, I hope Joe Milton is the next Joe Montana. I hope he is.
Well, Mark,
crazy.
You already got that problem, bro. I'm remembering Joe Milton's going to be taking Dak's spot, and all this stuff.
I'll say.
See, here's the thing. Here's the problem, actually, with Cowboys. Now, I don't know it for sure, but I believe it to be true. I don't think every one of the Eagles practices are open, are they, Leo?
No.
Okay.
They have like a
they'll have a couple of them open, right?
Yeah.
A few here and there. See, whereas Cowboys practices, they're all pretty much open.
Entertainment.
Huh?
Yeah, for your entertainment.
Right.
Actually,
and so,
I didn't think about that, but you're right.
But every practice is open, And we've got
and Mark, you don't go to the NovaCare complex. You go to the
stadium. Yeah.
But
everybody,
that's not where they have normal practice.
I want to go to the training camp. I think that they shouldn't have it to where the fans can all be there.
Well, it's some of those days I was out there, it was like the fans really weren't there because it was empty last year because they've gone through.
I remember that.
They've gone through now, and everything is a cost. It used to be, I got my True Blue membership. I can go sit at the fence on either side, every day, and that's $20. Now it's $21 per person. So if I got my 2-3 kids, I'm spending $80 to only stand on one side, and they don't really come over on that side. They all come on the high pay side over there to be greeted. So you're sitting up, if you're broke ass, up in the bleachers, in the sun, a ways away from the players and stuff. And it's like, why am I here? It's
I remember you said something like they roped off area now that you used to be able to.
It used to be you could be on the other side, and it's the VIP platforms. Oh, it's a great view from over there. It's a big tent that's elevated. If you had your camera, you could get film and stuff on it if they're practicing. There's no guarantee they practice on that field, but you're spending $300 a day for practice.
That's crazy.
So, that's where people say, hey, you going to training camp? It's like by the time you get the car rental, you get the place out there, eating and everything, you're talking a couple $1,000s. It's like, damn. I might as well go ahead and say, take that money and go to 2 or 3 games in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem with it is you're going to have a Cowboys YouTuber. You're going to have all the Cowboys writers and stuff there that will take one play. Diggs gets beat in practice, and now all of a sudden we need to trade him. On a drill, on a one-on-one drill. We had, I can't remember the player, but we had a wide receiver that was really, really tall. And he ended up jumping up the corner of the end zone, one-handed catch, and they had people ready to put him in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Yeah. And I don't think he could bust a grape. He had one great play in training camp, and you would have thought we had Odell Beckham Jr. at his peak. And we sell all these players that are great. Last year, I remember my man Game Time was talking about how, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, man, these two guys were looking fantastic and that they're going to be, Jerry Rice-esque.
And Tolbert had a real good season.
Who's that receiver?
Well, 600 yards, but okay.
The year the Giants won the Super Bowl and we beat them the opening game on Monday.
I was there. That was Joe Boo. Yeah, that was Joe
Who was that receiver that they sold jerseys
Again, Mark,
for?
Hold up.
He ended up being a bust.
What
was his freaking name?
Wait. I got Game Time mad.
What are you talking about? Dak Prescott
Ogletree.
on for most of the year.
Ogletree.
I know. Okay. I'll give you that.
What are we talking about here?
What are we talking about? Okay. What?
No Dak, no offensive line, no defense. It was a shit.
Okay. All right. So are you ready? So then, are you ready to say we don't need a high round drafted wide receiver?
No. Let's not get carried away.
Okay. All right. But here's the point I'm making though is we oversell our players in training camp off. No. We oversell our players in training camp.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden we think we've got, you would have thought we had CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown going into the season. I'm not saying that Jalen Brooks, Tolbert wasn't decent. He was. And I hope that he's going to continue to get better. But way we thought was, man, this guy's going to be the bomb.com.
Right. Well, Mark, we haven't done like the traditional training camp since I believe it was Chip Kelly that ended that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the year before that was when remember Andy Reid's son died at Lehigh. That was during training camp. And then the next year he was gone, and that was
no, hold up, George, no, bro. I started going to training camp in Oxnard the first year I think was 2012, and in 2012 where those townhouses are now, that was actually where you parked. They had basically when you got there, I remember seeing Nate Newton, and they had the big wheel to spin and everything else. Wow. They had the table with the cheerleaders. Because I got a video with Joe Boo going through with all of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. And when you went into there, they had bleachers on that side that was shaded. And, of course, if you were true blue, then you could go to the fence line there or you could go to the end. But then they started cording off. Every year it got to be worse. Then it got to be where you used to could literally be right there where the players came out in the morning. As long as you were a True Blue member and it's $20 a year, you could be right there, and so you would always see the players. Then they started blocking it off, and they made it like a VIP, so they would end up having the kids and stuff there. And every year it just kind of changes where you get less and less access, to the point where 2 years ago, unless you paid a buku amount of money, you were only on the opposite side of the field there. And the way it's set up is there's two fields. In the middle, there's the big tower up there for Jerry Stephen Jones to feel like they're the king, overruling everything. And then the end zone was the reporters. Now that's a VIP section that, again, you can pay for to get there. So
is this a school?
It's actually a hotel where they have some fields that are behind it.
Okay.
And they built like 2 football fields that are there. But over the years, it's been now surrounded by townhouses. And see, this is one of the problems that I think is that the Cowboys sell training camps. So you've got the players that are now having to sign autographs and stuff on their way in and out, for the high-priced fans and things. And you've got their practice every single day that you've got fans and stuff that are watching. Other teams don't do this. It's a matter of focusing in on just practice.
Yeah.
And we microanalyze it and everything else. So you got to think, okay, well, let me ham it up in practice and make sure I get some play and stuff in social media and things.
But isn't that consistent with the stories we hear from former players who leave and be like, yo, it's a circus up at the Star?
It is a circus. It is.
And we always feel like, doesn't that sort of kind of like run like a consistent type of behavior from the Cowboys?
Stephen R. Shut up, Stephen R. I'm not jealous of Milton. Oh my God! If Milton comes in and he ends up being the heir apparent to Dak Prescott, and we don't have to trade up to try and get somebody or pay a boatload of money on it, then I'm happy as can be on that. But I'm not under the delusion of thinking that a guy that was a 6th-round draft pick, that New England is like, you know what, we don't really need him, let's get rid of him for some chump change, that he all of a sudden is going to be the savior of the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't. Sorry.
So to be honest with you, as an Eagles fan, I will tell you, I'm not excited that you guys got Milton. I'll just say it that way. It's not.
Nobody was talking about how good Milton was before
the Cowboys, right? Nobody exactly.
It's the potential.
Now it's all of a sudden, New England got rid of him because he was too good, and he was going to.
Yeah, that always happens.
Their number one quarterback will run for his money, so that's why the Patriots got rid of him.
Well, it's the same thing when we got Andy Dalton. Remember that?
Yeah,
the Red Rifle.
Or Trey Lance, okay?
New England got rid of a quarterback because he was too good. That don't even make sense. But people are on TV talking about it.
Like, including Michael Irvin. Don't let him get on the field.
And they gave him a quarterback for basically a 6th-round pick. Switch 5th and 7th.
Yeah.
Quarterback that was too good, they just gave away.
Now he can launch the ball 80 yards.
I hope he's good. I really hope he's good. But to say he's going to take over Dak Prescott right now is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Well, I remember my man, the comedian out there with Trigger Trey. Oh, Trey Lance, he just needs his chance, man. Trey Lance, man, he's the real deal. He's the truth. Trey Lance is here to take Dak Prescott's job. Okay.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes in a preseason game. Yeah, how'd that work out?
Yeah.
Is Miami born whatever month he was born in, boy, that's Michael Irvin's reason for Dak to watch out. If you listen to his video, his whole reasoning was, because he's born here and born when. It says because of the date that he's born and because of where he's born. Because he's a March-born Florida boy, he's going to take Dak's job. So watch out, Dak.
Yeah.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called? That's called selling.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
But what it says is what. Tell us what you really think, Michael. Like,
I if anything, I hope this whatever this turns out to be, I hope it's something uncomfortable for you. But I'm just saying, I'm watching cautiously, on the outside looking in, guys. That's all. Not trying to get shit started for you.
It's same thing over. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the same thing over again, like 2016. I thought Romo was a great quarterback. I wanted Romo to be here and win here.
Yeah.
But if you put in a guy who's doing better than him, Romo can go. It's the same thing.
That's
it's
true.
the same situation. If Dak gets hurt and Milton comes in
and plays good and wins this,
buy Dak.
Appreciate
Milton is our quarterback. It's the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing, people.
Right. But then for us, now we got a whole nother Jaden Daniels problem, but it's the Dallas version. You see what I'm saying? If that scenario was to take place, like,
okay, if that happens, great.
I hope not.
Great, but am I expecting that? Come on, man.
Right. I get you, Mark. I get you.
I classified Tony Romo as injury prone. He was always having clavicle, rib, and back problems. Always, no matter when he got hurt. I don't classify Dak as injury prone. All his injuries are different. 2 of them were freak accidents. He doesn't have the same injury over and over again. It's different. It's been a thumb, a calf, and a foot.
Yeah, hey, you know what? And right, yep, all that. Yes, I just want to say, because I heard what some folks were saying earlier, Momo. Mark,
Wild Boy Trey is right. Go ahead.
Mark, you're right about the whole thing about there not being a repeat winner in the division in over 20 years now. You know, and I get that. What I will say is that aside from, you know, like when you look at the team that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, the following year that team didn't look the same either. We know about that Super Bowl tax, but here's the thing. And then if you look at this year's team that just went to the Super Bowl, the same core group of guys are still together. To me, that's the big secret. There's a core group of guys who have played in multiple Super Bowls late in the year together for a while. And they're actually getting the same coordinator back defensively for the first time in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
The chemistry same with the new guys.
Yeah,
that's the key. You got to get the new guys to buy into that chemistry.
And the interesting thing is that in the last couple of years, we've also had some quality depth play, not starting play, but depth play. Because I'm excited to see what Eli Ricks can do. I'm excited to see what Keely Ringo gets to do, because those guys have actually shown us things that makes us that makes it. I'm not saying it's no big deal that Slay left. You know what I'm saying? But it does soften the blow a bit, especially when you look at what a second-year Cooper DeJean looks like, what a second-year Quinyon Mitchell looks like, along with having a player who was on the upside, aside from injuries, and Sidney Brown coming in at safety. You know, so we're not devoid of talent. And not only that, though, but we're talking about these are guys who have at least played in the same system for at least 2 to 3 years. So there's you know, and then when you look at the quality, when you look at the quantity of draft picks that could possibly come in.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
I can't take no more. These long soliloquies you do. Let's get to the point, Leo. Cut to the chase. Cut this long as hell. Stop it. You take this long ass.
I just sat there and listened to you. No, listen, let me tell you something. I just sat here. I sat here and listened to you tell everybody that the Eagles are going to come in third place and all this other shit.
But you went on and on about something nobody want to hear.
I'm telling you, I know, because you're not like us. You know what I'm saying? We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to repeat.
Like us.
Yeah, you're not like us. We're the gold standard now.
Okay, moving right along. All right. We know all hail the not the Commanders. All hail the Eagles, the Super Bowl champions. Now,
that's right.
Understand, Leo, my father, the reason why I am a Cowboy fan, we just buried 2 days ago. And I am trying with all my might not to use the F word, because my dad was always a dad and said, son, this is just last year, son, it's just not right you using that word, cussing. I'm trying not to. Okay? Now, please don't get on my nerves. All right.
Fuck off, Leo. In other words.
Thank you, because that's what I was thinking, Royal. I appreciate you putting it out there. Dad, I didn't do it.
What did I say that was so offensive?
Just everything that comes out your mouth about your Eagles is offensive.
I can tell you, because
shout out to Drew.
Sometimes you go on and on. Then you go to another subject about your Eagles, the offensive line, the defensive line, the quarterback, the administration, the depth charts. You went through a whole litany of things nobody want to hear.
Someone that goes on and on is complaining about someone that goes on and on.
Right. That's when you know it's bad.
Basically, Leo, they asked you what happened today, and you started with 2 weeks ago. What happened today? Well, 2 weeks ago, I bought this car, and then
I forgot to load this drop up, but this is pretty much it right here.
The orator of town. You're the worst when you converse. Just a big mouth clown.
Did you hear it?
Something it's the worst. It's the big mouth clown.
The orator of town. You're the worst when you converse. Just a big mouth clown.
Something like Run DMC.
Run DMC.
It sounds like Run DMC.
It's Run DMC. You're the instigator, the orator of the town.
Hey, Mark.
Just a big mouth clown.
About that 80s old school.
Mark, play the other song.
No, I can't play. I'll get I keep getting copywritten on it.
Wow,
that's Houdini.
We really disturb you like that. You guys are so
Leo, you don't have a big mouth? You don't have a big mouth. Come on, man. A big mouth. There's a rumor being spread about me and the crew about something we did. Was supposed to. Oh, anyway.
Was any of the things I said a lie though?
We don't want to hear it.
That was a prediction.
Okay, you know what? I tell you what. Let me ask you this, Leo. Let me ask you this. Let's say that the Dallas Cowboys do the unthinkable and they win a Super Bowl, and I'm able to take that bottle of rum from Ultra's backyard that was bottled in 2019 as 25-year-old rum that is now 31 years old, that I'm able to crack that sucker open because the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Would you still come in here every Sunday and listen to me blovate about how great the Cowboys were?
Absolutely.
And be happy about it?
No, but I would still be there.
Okay.
It's called, listen, just as much as I take it, just as much as I dish it out, I have to be equally, if not more, prepared to take it. That's the fun of it all. And that's the biggest reason why you don't see me on very many other Eagle fans pages, because what's the fun in that? There's no fun. No. Like, I don't want to be around. I like the opposite. How am I going to get to know you? I like the opposite.
But said that they don't want to be on other Eagles channels. That a lot of the fans that they can't stand.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Like, how do we not engage with each other? It's fun.
To be an Eagles fan, you got to be a special person, because Philadelphia was in here trash talking Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott is not even in the chat. Philadelphia said, "Don't talk about your regular season stats versus the Eagles." Dak, it's like Dak is not even in here.
There you go.
Listen, I think personally, if you're going to talk smack to somebody, the least you could do is have facts. You understand what I'm saying? You got to bring facts. Come on.
I hear you.
If we're going to do it, let's do that. You guys always have the last word with 5 is bigger than 2. You see what I'm saying? But,
see, here's the thing. Let me say this much, okay? Because I'm going to say this is crazy when I realized it the other day, that the reason that Philly 500 and me are friends, and for anybody out there who thinks that we're actually enemies, we're not, okay? I've never met him in person, but I feel like he's family, okay? He's like that uncle, of course, you tell, you go to a family gathering, you got the uncle you tell the kids not to get too close to. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking on that part. But after my dad's funeral, he actually watched my dad's funeral online and stuff, and actually sent me some different, sorry, I'm getting emotional, but
I did it.
But sympathy and things and all that, and said he was praying for me and things. And see, for me, a lot of people don't understand that, when I talk trash about the Eagles and things like that, I got that from my dad. He worked at the post office. He was a mail handler. And he was one of 3 Dallas fans in the Washington, D.C. area at this big Merrifield post office. And so with Sundays, it was always everybody would have the bets and stuff with my dad and things like that. They talk trash about each other's team. And so when I talk trash about the Eagles, it's not meant to be I'm just being an ass or just trying to hate. It's like that's what I grew up with. Where just like you were saying, I dish it out, but then, if the Cowboys finally get themselves together, then I got to take it too, because that's how it was for me growing up. And I've always continued that. A lot of people don't understand that. It's not a matter because some people will take it to the level where they put so much hate behind it and want to kill you, this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's just football. It's football. And it's a way of us being friends.
Yeah.
And talking smack back and forth without me hating you.
Yes.
Now, the craziest thing is Philly 500 and us becoming friends was because of Cop Pizzle. Because Cop Pizzle did this video that said, there's YouTubers out there that are overrated, and he was specifically talking about me and Philly 500. At the time, we didn't know each other. We started talking, who is this guy? And why is he talking trash about you? And we're like, what's going on?
Come on, Brandon. Stop with the personal attacks, man.
And that's how it started.
Guy's hilarious. Cop Pizzle is hilarious.
Brandon, you can hate our team, but come on, don't just stop with the personal attacks, man.
Listen, man, Mark, check this out, right? So this is how it was for me growing up, and particularly where I come from. Okay, my father was actually a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, his mother, is a 49ers fan.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, my first cousin, is a Cowboys fan. My other first cousin is a Dolphins fan. My other cousin is a Commanders fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're surrounded by where I live at is where the transition from Jets, Giants turns mainly from here on south turns into Eagles. Game time, where Game Time lives at, he lives further south than us. So I'm accustomed to just being around at like fighting everybody about your team. That's the way it works around.
Hey, Leo, I just want to say something. I'm not here to yell, but although my brother's passed, he was a big Washington fan. He used to post and talk smack all the time on FB, and just he was the diehard Washingtonian. He don't care how bad the Wizards got, how bad the Washington Capitals got, how bad Georgetown gets. He's always going to be like that. So my brother,
my brother
was a Washington, who definitely a Washington fanatic.
One thing real quick.
Momo, I worked at the Pentagon, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I lived in Alexandria, okay?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right, okay. So let me explain something to you. It's an equal kind of hell for me, as if I was it's the same kind of hell as if I was living in Dallas. Fuck
we got Game Time living in Philadelphia
too. Yeah, Washington. No, Mark. Washington fans are the worst too. I've lived amongst them.
Oh, Leo, let me explain to you.
I lived in their market.
Well, I don't think you understand.
Terrible.
Hold on a second, Leo. Let me say this to you about Washington fans.
Like when they talk smack, like this right here. This is a very light version.
All right, I get you. I understand what you're saying,
been
Mark.
in their
That's
market.
what you're saying,
Okay,
Leo.
my car has gotten trashed and everything. So
Leo, let me say this about Washington. Let me hear. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Wait a minute. How is it this is a Dallas Cowboy chat and we get an Eagle and a Washington fan?
Mark, these are delusional people. Okay, there's something else.
You should have known that was going to happen.
Oh, boy. Hello, Linda.
Yeah, walk away predicted it.
A game. They got a WrestleMania match between Leo and Momo.
I'm serious, man.
No.
Let me say this.
I'm just telling you.
I just want to say this one thing, guys, about Washington fans. There are more in the city of Washington and surrounding communities, including Virginia and Maryland, there are more Dallas Cowboy fans there's ever been Washington fans.
That's
It's
true.
always going to be. So don't
You just
tell
not
me
knowing
that.
that.
That's
You
true.
just not knowing that,
I
Momo.
don't care about
Huh?
the numbers. I don't care about the numbers. I just know
No,
that.
not what I'm saying.
I just know Commander fans are
no
different.
disrespect
It's a
of
thing. I don't
anybody.
know. It's a thing. It's a whole nother
Most of the
vibe.
Washington fans,
They're
Cowboy
terrible.
fans, are African Americans.
No,
almost
listen,
almost 95% are African Americans. That's a fact.
Those are
So don't get me. I have my hell
They're
too.
terrible. They're terrible. They're
I
terrible.
got trashed for being a Washington fan because
You should. It should be very uncomfortable. You know.
Well, anyway, I don't want to take. We took enough of the time for Mark. Let Mark speak on. We ain't gonna talk about no Eagles. We ain't gonna talk about no Washington. There you go, Mark.
Well, Mark,
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just here letting y'all run the show because I've been so far behind.
I'm just saying they're terrible people, Mark.
So is Eagles fans.
No. You know what? No. There are some that are terrible. But I can say that about Washington fans. I can say that about some Eagle fans. And I can say that about some Cowboy fans. We all have some fans that we are not, we don't want to talk about that are just assholes. We know that, okay? But there's good ones too.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mark, I'm asking you a question, Mark. When you was was at the game and that Eagle fan hit was that a Cowboy fan he hit?
No, it was a Washington fan that hit a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Cowboy fan that he hit. He snuck him. And I'll be honest with you, I have not, I've been to a lot of Cowboy Washington games, and usually the Cowboys end up winning. That was the first time I've actually seen violence at the stadium. That's the first time I've actually seen anybody fight before.
Don't go to Eagles. Don't go to Eagles games.
Well, that's what I'm
saying. Sorry.
Social media after the games.
Yeah.
The Eagles jail got a TV show.
Yeah,
but
a very high light.
A lot of people don't realize that AT&T has a jail cell too.
They got a TV show. I think
they got TV in it.
It was. It used to be. It was at the vet. They had a jail and a courthouse.
Stadium lockup. Lockup on A&E.
But they used to have a like at the Eagles, the vet. They had like a jail and a courthouse, or like a court.
Last year.
You said courthouse or whorehouse?
Yeah. Court.
Oh, courthouse. I thought for a second I thought I heard you say whorehouse. I was like, oh shit.
Hey, Mark, the reason they had that because the fans was out of control there. They will fight each other. They get drunk. They'll fight each other. They ain't just fighting the other teams. They fighting each other.
But AT&T has a jail at AT&T.
They do?
Yeah. And there's even TV in there, so you can watch the game while you're locked up.
Yeah, they got a big screen in that inside the jail.
That's crazy.
But I went to the game. Y'all remember when I went to the game when Dallas played Cleveland up in Cleveland?
Yeah.
A&E.
I seen a fan get knocked off the stand. They knocked him out.
And they did the first documentary at the Dallas Cleveland game. As a matter of fact, I saw them. I saw them taking their very first hell-raising felon. I saw them taking the very first one. The cameras and all.
Well, things have changed a lot because I think it's more security at these games now, so it won't get out of hand.
I don't know, because you've seen some, like the San Francisco Ram games get to be really, really bad, and that's over the last couple of years and things. And see, sadly, we have gotten to be a society where violence is becoming normal. And it's sad that, it's a football game, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and at my dad's funeral seeing, my uncles and my cousins and things like that, and, that are Commander fans. In fact, I kind of put my dad and talking about, I inherited being a Cowboy fan because of my dad and stuff. And, we can trash talk about football and things. It shouldn't be to the point where we got to beat each other up. because our team lost or, because somebody else is there. That's not what football was for me growing up. Football was something that we could all relate to. Didn't matter if you were black, white, rich or poor. If you saw a Cowboy fan, yo, what's up, man? Sundays, being able to get together and watch football, but somehow it's all been kind of perverted to the point where it's become warfare.
My opinion, Mark, is that growing up as a kid in the back in the days, there's always been violence with dollars in Washington because people will bet on the game and end up killing each other over the game. There's always been that.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with football 6 years old, sitting on the couch, watching Cowboys and Redskins play, but I wasn't watching the game. I was watching my family talk trash back and forth, and was jealous that I couldn't join them because I didn't have a favorite team at the time. So that's what made me fall in love. Trash talking.
Yeah, because it's always the trash talking and like that. And nobody never, with my family, we never went and got in a fight because you was another fan and you were a Giants fan or you was an Eagles fan. Or back then, who was the hot team? Was that the 49ers in the 70s? Who was the hot team? Miami.
In the 70s. It was Dallas. It was Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Miami, of course, with the undefeated. Yeah. And Oakland, yeah. 49ers wasn't until 1980.
Yeah.
It was them in Washington.
There's always that thing. And the draft, so as you know, the draft is coming up. So when I was growing up, the draft was like a nothing burger. Nobody didn't care about going and watching the draft with stuff like that. And I personally don't really, I get excited for the first 2 rounds today. But end of the day, the draft is a nothing burger when it get past the 3rd round for me. Now, I'm not saying that you can't find some Jews later on down the rounds. What I'm saying is that the NFL did a great job making everybody come and watch this draft.
Well, I'm going to tell you how the draft is really involved, because it was the year that Travis Frederick was drafted. Mm-hmm. And we were doing this with United Way. We were working with the NFL draft. It was in New York at Radio City Music Hall. And there were only 500 seats for fans to be in the draft. And this is how crazy it was. There was no, of course, Super Bowl City or anything. I was outside across the street from Music City Radio Hall when the Cowboys traded back to get Travis Frederick. And the second day, we were actually in the hallways of the draft. I had Calais Campbell, Nnamdi Asomugha, and I'm trying to remember the other player. And what we were doing is we were actually taking pictures of fans with NFL players to try and get their email address to, become part of the mailing list for United Way. The next year was actually in Chicago, and that was the first year they actually had the draft. That was actually something. Nobody cared about the draft before. It was kind of like, okay, so the Cowboys got such and such, such and such. But they've turned it into this $multi-million event to get everybody's information. It's free to actually go to the draft, but you're spending a fortune being there in the city. But this has become big business now, like everything with the NFL. The Combine? No, but the Combine, you didn't even know what freaking went on. There was no coverage of it.
Well, so I heard you in your thing earlier, and you posted something about flag football. That's the biggest red flag. I hope to God these players should not be going to no daggone flag football for Olympic event. Just because somebody gonna get hurt. I used to be in the league, our flag football league, and people get hurt. Yeah, in these flag football leagues.
Yeah, believe me, I remember. Because when you run into somebody,
I played down.
And you ain't got nothing.
I played down at Anacostia Park in DC. The flag football, right down all those soccer fields and football fields and baseball fields and there was flag football leagues down there. And I played in them, and people tore up the Achilles, got hurt.
Concussions
so
running into each other.
These are football players talking about going to play flag football. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to get hurt because you playing at a high rate of speed, trying to chase somebody down and snatching a flag. Your body's not, I'm telling you, you're going to get hurt.
Well, I see it as the NFL is creating the next set of fans. Okay, by especially sponsoring all of the girls' youth flag football leagues. Here it is. My niece, who I just saw about 6 weeks ago, who never had any interest in any football game, she comes to me and says, "Oh, I made my school's flag football league," and I'm like, "You're playing flag football?" And she was like, "Yeah, you want to sponsor me? I need some cleats. I need some gloves. Next thing I know, I spent $150 outfitting her for flag football. And now you figure she's going to start watching football. For the NFL, they understand that first concussions got people to stop having their kids play Little League football. Here's a way to start creating more fans. Who did?
Somebody set you up. Go ask Uncle Mark. He'll
Yeah. Can Joe Boo Sports sponsor me?
Here's the thing about flag football.
Go tell him.
You don't
Go tell
need
him.
special gloves, Mark. I never understood why you got gloves anyway. Flag football, well, you need special gloves.
Well, no, I can. Now, hold on. See, you got to understand now, because she's a little. I couldn't believe that she was playing flag football because she always was doing the makeup and the nails and all. She got to wear the gloves so that way she doesn't mess up her nails and get dirt under them and things.
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm talking about this flag football league. I know parents who do flag football league in my area. You have to have a certain uniform.
Yeah.
You got to have a certain gloves.
Marketing.
And you got to have the
It's about the money, man.
And about the armbands and certain cliques. What you need cliques on a what you need cliques for? What's go out there for sneakers? You 7 years old. You wouldn't need no cliques on a
Okay,
flag
Momo.
That's how you ankle.
But see, listen, man, bro, this is the kinder, gentler parents. Okay, no, you have to understand, y'all don't understand this. When I went to school, elementary school, in the gym, you had to climb the rope. Okay,
yes, you did.
30 feet to the ceiling, right? And we had those gray mats. Those gray mats that were like...
I just want to say cleats one more time.
No, seriously. You climbing up this big-ass rope, and then you had to touch the beam at the top and come back down. We didn't have gloves to do that shit. And you were like, okay, I'm going to roll on down. You got rope burns on your hand, and you came down too fast. You got this hard-ass gray mat that didn't do jack crap to you. This is
like that. And then on the football field, if you play like intramural sports and you sitting up there and you get hurt, they just walk right by you.
Yeah, y'all remember the Wheel of Death in the playground?
Running.
Okay.
The metal wheel of death.
You know, do you remember the asphalt basketball courts outside that always had broken glass on them?
Yeah.
See, we were tougher back then.
Okay. Yeah, when we used to do football, we used to do this thing called the county fair, where you actually had a little setup. You'd stop and do push-ups or whatever. Then you'd do lunges to the next station, and then do some other stuff, and then do some high knees to the next. These guys don't know anything about that now.
In my elementary school, we had track and field basically at the end of the year where it was the mile run competition, a whole bunch of stuff. Like
everybody
like a track
did
event.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, y'all today are soft. Okay,
they all soft. They as butter. So, Mark, speaking of the football of the rope, so I couldn't get up the rope. So the gym teacher said, "You better get up the rope. I'm going to fail you because that was your class ass, right?" He said, "You better get up this rope." So I get up the rope. So he was yelling and cussing at me, the gym teacher. So I was trying to hurry her down. I slid all the way down. Burned my hand.
I've never
got mad. My mother got mad because my hands was burned. Went to the school. She wanted to see the gym teacher, and the principal said, Hold on. No, I need to see him. He had my son come down because I was like, whatever. My mama smacked the taste out of his mouth when she seen him. Don't you ever have my son?
This is only the second time I've done this, Mark, requesting somebody be kicked out of your stuff. Willy Wonka. I don't know if that's a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. It is really not funny.
It's the same
really
guy.
Not funny. It is really not funny. If Dak offed himself, I would celebrate. It's really not funny. And then a whole bunch of smiley faces behind it.
Yeah, we know who that is. Game time, Brian, you know who that is because it's the same guy who was doing the other ones and stuff. And it's sad that that's a pathetic You know, that excuse for a human being, but yeah. And he'll be back. He'll be back as somebody else, reincarnated. And it's sad. It's sad that you have people like that in the world.
It's
that was somebody who wants attention.
Yeah, it's this rage baiting for attention is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I get picked on all the time, so people make fun of me. That's fine. I can take it. Don't worry me.
Yeah, my aunt, my aunt called me basically big head all my life.
Yeah.
So
I had a big head, and I always
my aunt's
say
nickname is for me is headquarters. I thought it would once I got past 21, I thought she would stop. No, but when I got picked on in school about it, it didn't hurt me because hey, my aunt called me big headed all the time. It don't.
yeah. Words, because I always feel like words is just words we deem
Words just
inappropriate.
words. Yeah.
So words can never affect me or hurt me, and never had hurt me. But I've been called big head. Oh, you got a big head. Oh, that means I got more knowledge to put in my head. So get out of here.
Man, we had this guy, Albert Williams at JMU, man. That guy had the biggest head, man. We called him beach. Look, we called him beach ball. Okay. We would joke. We would grab a 5-gallon bucket and say, "Here, use this for a helmet, man." Okay, I'm sorry. That was a flashback to JMU. But yeah, hopefully Albert Williams is not listening.
O.J. Simpson.
Yes, it was huge, man.
Yeah, he's bigger.
I want Genty or Hampton in the first round. Well, that's. I'm curious. What would you guys like? Who would you like to see us get in the first round? I'm still of the mindset that we keep hearing about Matthew Golden and stuff, and Game Time is selling me on him that he's a great route runner and stuff. But I'm just sitting there thinking, is that really worth 12th? If there's a possibility to trade back, I think it could be better for us if there is a trade partner. But from what I'm told is there may not be a lot of movement unless it's to try and get a quarterback. If Sador drops down, maybe you might see the Steelers trying to move up in there. We know New Orleans might have another need as well. But I think if the Cowboys were able to move back and get an extra pick, it would probably be for the better. What do y'all think?
I totally agree. I know Seattle has 2 second rounders, so if Shador is dropping and they need a quarterback, it's like right there. You got Seattle, you got Pittsburgh, so there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. Hopefully they can,
Mark,
because I think trading down would be the best, especially in this draft.
Mark, I did ask Game Time if Shador Sanders is there at 12.
No.
Should the Cowboys pick him?
No.
Why would they? Wait a minute. We got the greatest prospect in the world. We just traded for Joe Milton. We haven't need a quarterback. Remember, he's the guy that's taking Dak Prescott's place.
Never know how Jerry feels about Shador and Dion. You never know. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying.
I don't see it. To me. No, I don't see that. I mean, maybe
because I believe he's going to slide down the round. I believe he's going to be the 23rd pick. I really believe that. I don't think he's going to be in the top 10.
I'm beginning to think not too, but I don't think you can take him. I'm sorry. That would be a luxury. Right now, you've already paid Dak Prescott a king's ransom, and you can't get rid of him for 2 more years. The best thing you can do is try and maximize what you have right now with Dak. And the thing is, even if you say, well, let's take Sador, the problem is you still don't have anything for him to work with. You've got to get more talent out there. Sorry, I just can't see that one. But,
I mean, some people may argue with you, Mark, to say that we could get the talent later. We could get it.
Okay. And we've been trying to do that for how long?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that I believed that because Jerry admiration for Dion will get him there, or will do something where they're going to have him there.
I hear what you're saying, and I wouldn't put it past him that could be a possibility. But sorry, I don't see how that's going to help you win a Super Bowl right now.
Because I'm okay. Who's the quarterback? He's the quarterback for the Seattle. He's no longer there.
Chino.
What's it? Geno. Remember Geno? Everybody thought Geno was going to be this first round pick, and he slid to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was surprised that he slid. That's the same thing I'm seeing with Shador.
Okay. And so did Johnny Manziel, because we heard that the Cowboys, that Jerry Jones would do anything to get Johnny Manziel, including trading up. That was reported. I remember Adam Schefter saying that the day of the draft. And here it was. Johnny Manziel was right there. Now, allegedly, Jerry Jones wanted to pick him, and Stephen Jones said, hell no, we're going to take Zach Martin.
But here's the thing. That guy you just named, he has, I don't know why he's still always on the phone, because I think he's the worst. I was seeing somebody for information.
Adam Schefter?
Yes.
All of them are.
I don't think he's...
On Diggs and C-Lamb are my favorite. Yeah, mine's DeMarvion Overshawn's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad, guys. I thought I was muted over here. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
So what I'm saying is that you don't think Adam Schefter's so-called information is suspect?
It is. That shit he pulled with Aaron Rodgers basically on the draft day, basically insinuating that they were about to trade Aaron Rodgers, and then comes out later on, it's like, oh, well, going collectively by everything that's been talked about. It's like, so you came through and you said some shit that changed how people may have been drafting that you knew was a lie. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, and then he's always on the phone. Stop being on the phone like you busy. Ain't nobody calling you.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, he's gonna say Jalen Hurts is going to the Cowboys.
Tell him, Momo. He don't need no phone to report on the NFL.
He don't need no phone to lie. I think he lies a lot. I think he gets misinformation. You don't need no click.
Well, you've noticed that now has become the clickbaiting to the nth degree.
Yes.
Okay, so I was sitting here earlier. Actually, I've got a video on it, but I haven't actually made it live. But I saw this saying that Cowboys playmaker will probably be released. And I was like, Cowboys playmaker?
That's like clickbait at his house.
Well, I mean, I was like, well, who are they talking about? And they were talking about Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
When you say Cowboys play, I'm sorry. It's like, wait a minute. He's got 110 yards in 2 years. What plays has he made? What I say playmaker, I think,
isn't that
okay.
the news that his dad works?
Yes, but that was the title: Cowboys to release, playmaker. And I was like, playmaker.
Oh, he was the playmaker.
I was like, he's got 110. He's averaged 2.6 yards a carry. What play has he made? How is he a playmaker? I was like, come on, man. And all of these damn proposed trades.
3 years.
Oh, Cowboys trade Dak Prescott for T.J. Watt, or Dak Prescott to the Cleveland Browns.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
I'm just like,
do it.
Game Time's not here. It's like Game Time.
Give me T.J. Watt right now. Give me him. Give me T.J. Watt.
Me and Game Time Brian need to come up with one of these crazy ass proposed trades out here and put it out there, because it seems like that's the thing now, man. Every day it's like 3 or 4 different proposed Cowboys trade lands, such and such. They're pulling this stuff out the rear end, man.
And they don't even title it as proposed trade.
Yeah,
you gotta click on it to see proposed trade.
I can tell you one better than that. You had to chime in to find out was this true.
What?
I'm the new GM. When your fellow podcasters going like that, you know what I'm talking about, because he's a good guy. He said he's the new GM.
Hold on. At least with T.J. Watt, you're getting a Hall of Fame player. They're not getting a Hall of Fame player. That's how I look.
Oh, if he wins the Super Bowl,
That's
he
how
will
I
be.
look at it.
Yeah.
If he wins the Super Bowl, he will be.
That'd be debatable.
Okay.
You don't got Jim Plunkett
I
in
do
the Hall
have
of
one
Fame.
I tell you what.
Here's
But Dak Prescott is in a position that he could end up owning all the Cowboys records this year, and if he got a Super Bowl to go with it,
that leads me to my next question. You think Dak Prescott, when it's all said and done, is he a Hall of Famer?
Without a Super Bowl, no.
Be honest with yourself.
Without a Super Bowl, no.
No, with the Super Bowl.
With the Super Bowl? I think if he wins the Super Bowl, yeah, he is. With the Cowboys after 30 years plus, Yeah, he would be.
Now,
And they're going to put Aaron in at some point.
That proves my point.
You know what
They
I'm
just
saying?
giving out Hall of Famers because you in the Hall of very good. You don't care. I don't care if you not even great. You because you win a Super Bowl, that don't make you a Hall of Famer, Mark.
Super Bowl, and he'll own all of
And
the
his
Dallas
stats
Cowboys
combined.
records. He'll have the touchdowns.
He'll
He'll have the yardage and things. Yeah, he's gonna be if he stays healthy this year.
Is he better than Roger Staubach? Hell no. Is he back? No.
Roger's got 2.
But Roger was special.
You know, here's what I'm going to say to you. Okay, all right. Roger and Troy Aikman were 2 incredible quarterbacks. I'm not going to say they're not, but if I took Troy Aikman and put him on another team, would he have won 3 Super Bowls? That's the question you have to ask.
If you'd have put him on a solid team, he'd have got at least one.
Maybe, but take a look. I ask you, where was their weakness on the 90s offense or defense? What was the weakest point?
There wasn't that many weaknesses, but there also wasn't that many weaknesses in the opponents they were facing. The Giants were loaded. The 49ers had Hall of Famers all over the place on both sides of the ball.
I agree.
They were stacked. And the Cowboys went on the road, and Troy Aikman was playing out of his mind in that NFC Championship game. He was threading needles. He was making good decisions. There's a big difference between him having he had to be the quarterback and the field general.
Yes.
There's a big difference between.
But I tell you what, there's a big difference when you had that offensive line, that great wall of Dallas, and Emmitt Smith back there, and a playmaker to throw to. There's a big difference when you had Tony Dorsett, when you had Drew Pearson out there and Preston Pearson and that offensive line and the doomsday defense, when you compare to what we got right now. There ain't no doomsday. There ain't no doomsday on this defense here.
Mark, I can uniquely empathize with that.
Nate Newton talked about this. He talked about Dak after that playoff loss against Green Bay. He said, my quarterback, Troy, never was shaken. He had ice in his veins. Nothing fazed him in the playoffs. I don't like the fact that my quarterback in year 8 looked shook like a deer in the headlights in the playoffs.
Okay.
That's the difference between him and Troy. Troy had ice in his veins. Dak doesn't.
All right, I hear you.
But
Troy also had an offensive line that was keeping people off his ass and a running game. And where was it? Let me ask you, where was that ice in the veins? Where was that ice in the veins after the Super Bowl win without Emmitt Smith those first 2 games?
That was the regular season. All that matters is the playoffs. And in 1995, the Cowboys weren't even that good yet. Yeah, they were the middle of the road defense and the middle of the road offense, and they got it done in the playoffs.
Okay. You know what? Right now, I would settle for middle of the road. That middle of the road defense right there. I would, because that defense didn't give up the runs like this defense does.
Not only that, Troy Aikman outplayed MVP Brett Favre in his prime, outdueled his ass the entire game. The MVP of the league.
It sounds like you're talking about Jalen Hurts. That sounds like
no. Stop it. Shut up.
All right, we've been here quite a while. My daughter's here. I think it's about time for me to get up out of here. If you guys would like to continue the show here without me.
So it sounds
Mark, I just want to say the final thing. I just want to say this. The reason I bring up Dak Prescott, because people getting in this head that because you win a Super Bowl, you a Hall of Famer. You're not a Hall of Famer. But now we're going to name every quarterback. Let's put every quarterback that's ever won a
not every one of them is in there. Joe Flacco's not, Joe Flacco won't be.
He deserved one?
What was
the Baltimore Ravens quarterback?
I will give you this, Mark. If Dak keeps piling up stats and he does
win a Super Bowl,
I think he'll probably get to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
When is the Momo show coming out? That's what I want to know. When is the Momo show?
The Momo's Ranch show
premiere.
I can't do nothing because I'm about to go. DC.
Momo's memes.
No, because I have by the way, everybody, my brother's memorial is the 24th, so I won't be doing I'll be doing off and on stuff like that. So I gotta wait. This is wife's decision for. I don't like it so long, but my podcast or my rant, Momo's rant, is coming to a podcast near you.
A podcast near me, or
YouTube, wherever you want to call it. And I just feel like Dak Prescott and this league has all they do is now let's give everybody a Hall of Fame ring. Oh, that's all. He was pretty good. He was pretty
but
good.
it hasn't even happened.
It hasn't. His career's not even over.
No, because
what did I just say? What did I say? If he wins the Super Bowl and owns every Dallas Cowboys passing record, then yes, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
So
Mark,
okay, check this out.
Hold on.
Everybody knows who's been on Game Time, Brian. No, I can't. I don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Oh, hell no.
Hold on. I got to throw something else out there. The 95 Cowboys also didn't have a coaching staff. Literally, Troy Aikman had to will their asses to victory because they, just got rid of Jimmy Johnson and the team was falling apart at the seams. Troy Aikman, that's a leader right there doing that shit. Pulling the team to the Super Bowl to win it.
Yeah, but we've got Jerry Jones who's been trying to pull the strings for 30 years that you're fighting against there too, bro.
You got the spot.
You can't sit here and look and say the Cowboys were doing great things until Dak Prescott came around.
I mean,
because they weren't.
They weren't the best.
No, yeah, we struggled the same.
They weren't the best. I mean, they had a couple good teams with Romo. A couple of good teams.
With Romo, we were waiting every game for that last end of the game interception. That we always were waiting on that to happen. We'd be having a good game, and it's just like, when's it going to happen? When's that interception coming?
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, Mark, I want Dak to win a Super Bowl. You have no idea.
Yeah, I know. We all do.
Get us to a fucking Super Bowl. I want him to get us there.
Royal. So when Romo came in and he fumbled, they had the chance to win that game, right?
Jason Witten got the first down, and they didn't give him the first down to play before that. So let's stop talking about the fumble in Seattle. Talk about the non-first down call when Jason Witten got the first down.
I don't know. Did that really happen?
Jason Witten got the first down. I don't know what happened after that, but Jason Witten
got robbed.
I'll be honest with you, Mark, to be honest with you, out of respect for the game, the sport, and the position, I would have to say, as an Eagles fan, even I would have to admit that if you just add Super Bowl to his resume, I think he'd be just as in.
You just blind too. You've been hoodwinked and bought out too.
Okay, here's what I mean. This is the same thing. You got to look at Aaron Rodgers with just one Super Bowl ring and say he's the shoe-in for the Hall of Fame too.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But you have to actually look at Aaron Rodgers. In the second half of his career, didn't really have a whole lot of success in the playoffs either with teams that were number one. Because see, here's where we lost.
All Aaron Rodgers is doing is his stat and his patent.
Right,
stats.
But here's the thing: we lost to San Francisco in that playoff game. Right? You had Green Bay was the number one seed. He was the MVP. We softened him up where we had already hurt Jimmy Garoppolo, and Aaron Rodgers and that team. They scored 9 points, I think, against San Francisco at home. And I literally heard people say, well, that's because the weather was bad. It's freaking Green Bay. They're known for the Ice Bowl. You guys are going to cut him slack because you said the weather was bad and you're going against San Francisco that's a warm weather team? Right. Seriously?
It was supposed to be their advantage.
Come on, man. That's where it just the problem here is the Cowboys are a victim of their success because Jerry Jones has made them the team that everybody looks at. You see every single play, and it is broken down. Anytime there's a bad play, it's always shown over and over and over again in questions, whereas other players will do the exact same thing, and nobody will ever care about it.
Mark, listen. Do you remember Brian Bosworth?
Yeah, the Boz, of course.
Yeah, the Boz, right? Mm-hmm. All right. There was a T-shirt that came out because when he was playing for Oklahoma,
he had the 55 earring and everything else, and
44.
the spiked 44, and the spiked hair. They had the little kid that was like Boz Jr. and stuff.
Yeah. He even had a movie, I think.
He had a helicopter bring him to practice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So, there was like an anti Brian Bosworth T-shirt that was going around, that was being sold and everything, right? And it turns out that it was actually Brian Bosworth who owned it.
Okay.
That's crazy.
He was making crazy money off of the hate. He owned the trademarks for the T-shirt for back then that we would call going viral.
Yeah.
He made more money off of the T-shirt that was supposed to hate him than he did off of his own jersey sales and
Sounds
shit
about
like
right.
that.
That's
Yeah.
him. Yeah, y'all gonna hate on me. I'm gonna go buy it, and I'm gonna make all that money off you hate.
And
That's
so,
smart.
but here's the thing: wouldn't it be suffice to say that maybe it's gotten to the point now where even the hate of the Dallas Cowboys is a marketing ploy,
Bro? I almost, if you want a conspiracy theory, you have to have somebody to hate. For all we know, this is the grand scheme of things, because the Cowboys getting up there and failing makes more coverage than anything else. If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, think about all the things that will just disappear.
Yeah.
It's almost like, Cowboys, you're set up to be the villain, and we want you to go ahead and be good and then crash.
Well, if you think about it, we come back year after year, just like we do for Game of Thrones or for whatever the show that's premiering that, you know what I'm saying? We do the same thing, but this has been going on for generations now. You see what I'm saying?
Just think about this. So there was that former, I don't even know if you can really call him former NFL quarterback from earlier this week from Green Bay. He may be the only player in the NFL who has a negative yardage passing.
Who's this?
I can't. It's Kurt Ben something or other, but his career stat is he has -2 yards. Okay, -2 yards is what he has passing. Okay, so he comes out. He's basically saying that the quarterbacks are replaceable. That Cooper Rush, his numbers are better than Dak Prescott, and that's why they would be better trading Dak for T.J. Watt and stuff. But for having an idiot out there that has a complete failed career to be able to come up with some stupid shit about Dak Prescott to get national coverage shows you the power of it. It's like that guy in Cleveland who came out and said,
think about us with having to deal with listening to Chase Daniels.
But that's
about Jalen Hurts. It's like,
that's minor. That I didn't even know he talked about Jalen Hurts.
Is that last name herpes or something? Heaps.
But that's how crazy the whole thing is.
That's where y'all at now.
We won't hear about it anymore.
Is that what y'all do now?
No, I was talking about the quarterback. Mark was talking about Merle Heaps or Heaps.
Mark,
-12 yards. Merle Heaps, MERLEHAPS is his last name.
Yeah, if Jerry wants a real
He's back
circus,
as Royal 07.
He trades Dak to Pittsburgh as TJ Watt. Go ahead and bring Aaron Rodgers in here. Let's get a real circus going. This offseason.
Don't
You want to lose?
Oh boy!
Just want to get a real circus going. I'm just used to the circus for 30 years.
Yeah.
Don't.
Aaron Rodgers is losing.
What else is new?
Aaron Rodgers is stealing money.
And that wouldn't even surprise me if they did that. I'd be like, well, no, it doesn't surprise me. Cowboys, they do crazy shit.
But remember what my original question was: is the hate for the Cowboys as much as a marketing tool as the love? You see what I'm saying? Like how Brian Bosworth did.
Jerry embraces the hate. That's why when he went to Philadelphia, he thought everyone was cheering him. He's just embracing the whole hatred. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. Which is why I said, when I remember I was teasing you guys and saying, hey, we might have did y'all a solid because somebody was talking smack to Jerry and
Jerry thought people were loving on him. I'll compliment them.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. That was
30 years and he would be used to it.
Well, that was the thing. That was what made it so much fun. You know what I'm saying? Because they were all like the way they did it. Good job, Jerry. We love what you're doing, man. Keep it up, Jerry.
Thanks a lot.
You're the GM of the year, Jerry. That all in was really good.
Yeah, we loving you over here, Jerry.
Reverse psychology on the man.
GM of the year.
Well, all right, good
And
people.
we knew how that was firing you guys up.
Yeah. Well, let me say, as always, I appreciate all the love and support from all of you great fans, as well as you haters. You know, the thing, in the same way that the Cowboys, it doesn't matter if you're talking about them because you love them or hate them. As long as you're talking about them, it helps. And even having assholes that are trolls ends up helping as far as it goes. I know I've got a lot of people that don't like me and hate me, and I don't know why. I try and be a solid citizen and look out for people. David Wiley, shout out, Aaron Rodgers is going to Philly. There we go. I appreciate everybody that comes through, and I especially appreciate you guys. This is the first live stream I've done in quite a while here, and I appreciate you guys because actually you guys have made me feel a whole lot better. And let me give you guys any final words here before we get out of here.
I wish I had the trolls you had, Mark, because it'd be people. I see a video 5 minutes. It's only been up 5 minutes, and I go to the comments. It's Dak sucks. Dak this. It's like, well, I need y'all over there.
I'm serious. You know, it is crazy.
The video isn't even about that.
Right.
And they in there, Dak sucks. We need to trade Dak. It's like, man, I wish I had these.
See,
trolls.
you know, the thing is, and I probably shouldn't put this out there, but because the trolls interact so quickly, basically YouTube says, okay, people are commenting, people are liking it. Let's share this some more. So without them knowing, they're actually helping the channel. So I appreciate that, man. Hate on, man. Hate on.
Talk about
Walker Wade with the super chat.
What you say in the comments? I love it.
Yeah. Commenting.
Mark, I gave you a hard time, but it's all good.
No, yeah. Wade, did you give me the poncho?
The Western poncho.
I was wearing that the other night because I didn't have any sweatshirts here and it was cold outside. And I said, I think Wade gave me this thing, man.
Yeah,
and
you had a cowboy hat you were wearing.
That's when I was doing my Clint Eastwood. Shut up, punk.
You had a rum. I don't know what you had. You had a rum bottle that looked like a pistol. And you
I do.
I don't know what
I still have that. That's up here. I forgot it. You know, I got so much shit that I don't even remember half the stuff that I have and things, man. It's been a long 9 years of doing this shit.
Yeah, you sit there in the chair with a hat and the poncho with the rum pistol.
And light a cigarette. Shut up, punk.
Now the dope part is that we get to watch you go back in time just for a moment to realize where all that stuff how it all came together.
Oh man,
which is funny.
It's you know what, I have been truly blessed with this, and if somebody had told me 12 years or so ago that, oh man, you're going to do YouTube and people are going to watch it, it's like, you're smoking some crack. You must be Leo Bridgewater. You must be
wait, not crack.
Okay, all right, but
I'm really looking forward to this season. This season's going to be very interesting. Season's going to be really interesting.
Well, here's what I will say about you.
I'm
you may not
excited to see what happens.
You may not like Dak. You may think Dak sucks, but you can't question his work ethic. I mean, when you think about the injuries that he's had and how hard he's worked to get his ass back out on the field, he cares. You know, and to take the amount of hate and abuse that he gets from fans and just keep brushing it off and keep coming back, I wouldn't bet against him this year because it seems like when he's had injuries, he ends up having really good seasons afterwards. So this would be the time that the Cowboys should load up on him.
Yeah, still got some cap space, draft.
So are you thinking wide receiver?
They definitely going to get him some weapons, I think.
You know, here's what I
believe running back, wide receiver is the first two picks.
I need an instant impact, and I think you got to get the running back. I think that you might end up being able to make a move as in a trade, or maybe you end up getting somebody like Keenan Allen for the wide receiver. I think you could do that potentially after the draft, but you've got to get a young stud running back. And if it ends up being there's a great player that's falling, whether it's a defensive end or defensive lineman or offensive lineman, you got to take him if he's a plug-and-play impact player.
I think when they did sign
Mark,
Rico,
what number are you picking at?
12.
Okay, so yeah.
I think they end up with a wide receiver, probably either Golden or Burden in the first, and I would love to see him get Caleb Johnson in the second. because I had him ranked above Amarian before the offseason, and then I slowly ended up putting Amarian over him. But I think Caleb Johnson's right there as running back for like a second-round pick. He may even be gone before then too, honestly. Before the 44th, I think if we don't take Amarian at 12, like some people are saying, that I think he goes in the 20s. Because 12 is a little bit of an overvalue on Amar. But some people still have us taking him there.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys in the draft are going to like draft heavy on weapons, like wide receivers,
they need them.
Running backs. I don't mind filling the gaps like everywhere else with free agency or trades, or whatever.
I think if you can get yourself another weapon that you have to worry about, that's going to help spread the field open. And if you can spread the field open, that's going to help your offensive line and your running game. And they've got to be balanced. Rodney, step away. Appreciate the super chat.
If you were to trade back, how far back would you be?
Go back 21.
But the Steelers, I think, would be great because then I think you're still going to be able to get a really good player and have another pick in there at least.
Do you foresee a number of drops, not just one player, but a number of players dropping that would shift the board for everybody?
My problem is I'm going to be real here. Like I said, the last 6 weeks between my father-in-law dying, my dad dying, and funerals and everything else, I have not done anything as far as the draft prospects. That's where a guy like Game Time Brian can tell you about all the players. But I know us moving back the 2 spaces that we did to get Micah, we ended up getting a 3rd-round pick that we got Golson, who was a good role player. I can say Travis Frederick, I think we moved back.
That was when y'all traded with us.
Yeah. And I will say that when we traded back for Travis Frederick, I think we traded like 3 or 4 spots back. We were able to get Terrence Williams. And I'll even say us trading back last year, although Tyler Guyton hadn't shown a whole lot last year, that 3rd-round pick getting Cooper Beebe was key. And I can't remember how far back we moved on those, but all those moves have paid out in getting us to good players. Now I'll say Cooper Beebe was definitely better than Tyler Guyton, but I hope Tyler Guyton gets better this year.
The reason why I'm asking, because I'm thinking about like the package deals that we're going to have to probably come up with, the way they're talking, how we want to either move up or even move back, depending on how
for you guys to move up. If you were trying to move up to 12, you're talking about a couple of number ones, probably.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. Like it's interesting the way they're talking about how these how he's probably willing to do, which is packaging all these compensated picks that we're getting and stuff like that to move around. They just don't know how. And mind you, we probably got like a player or two that he probably offer up too.
Yeah. All right, good people. As always, I appreciate you guys. And